This is The Front Stretch on AM 590, brought to you by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com.
This is Turn 2, fully stocked by the Party Patriot Council Bluffs, located just off the beaten path at 35th and 5th Avenue. It's time to find a gas station that won't break the bank with great prices on food, fuel, and beer. The Party Pantry is where you go to save some green, and it's where you go to get full service. It's just coming up Tuesday. The Hooters girls are going to be
every Tuesday.
Your gas. I do believe I'll be making a trip to the Party Pantry on Tuesday.
You know, this is going to sound so bad, but, you know, double D's and 89 octane, you just can't go wrong.
You really can't. It would be a bad statement if you were wrong, but you are absolutely right. So you really can't say anything wrong about that. This is the Fast Five, and it's the 5 stories that are dominating the NASCAR world. On Wednesday night, 5 men made it into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Those men are Buck Baker, Cotton Owens, Herb Thomas, Rusty Wallace, and Leonard Wood. Now, Leonard Wood was not a driver. He was one of the innovators and one of the many Wood brothers that took that organization to so many wins and such a great, successful venture into NASCAR. So congratulations to all those guys. Obviously, Rusty Wallace, one of the latest youngest guys to get into NASCAR. He was the 1989 NASCAR champion and won 55 races. So congratulations to those guys. They are the 2013 inductees, and they will be inducted February 8th. Your Fast Five number 2, Michael Waltrip Racing, Joe Gibbs Racing, and JTG Racing extend their partnership with Toyota. A big thing for Toyota Racing, they're getting these big teams back on board, and one of the big ones, Michael Waltrip Racing, which was one of the first teams to sign up with them. Then Joe Gibbs Racing was the second team to sign up with them. So it's big that they're able to sign on these teams to kind of continue their partnership and continue their efforts into the NASCAR.
Oh, it's absolutely awesome to see what Toyota has come into NASCAR and done in the last few years. A lot of people, thought they were kind of a joke. They were the butt of jokes for the first couple of years. And, you take a look at what MWR Racing has done, and it is absolutely phenomenal. So Toyota is here to stay. They're going to be a mainstay. They're not going away anytime soon. They've won races. They've been in the chase. I mean, they're doing everything that they can possibly do, and it's great to see these guys, succeeding at their level.
A lot of people were not happy that Toyota was allowed to come into the NASCAR circuit, but I think the people who were able to look past the fact that it's not an American manufacturer were able to see that this was just going to make the sport that much better, because they were going to pour more money, more R&D, and more marketing into the sport, and which is going to make Chevy, Ford, and Dodge work a little bit harder, which is that, in essence, that competitive nature that you really need to have.
Well, if you look at Toyota's sustainability, there's a lot to be said there when we're looking at Dodge possibly not even being around here in the next year or two.
Yeah, it is, and it's a scary thought to see one of the American dealers not being involved in the sport.
Oh, yeah, having Dodge not NASCAR is like saying Andrew's not going to be racing the NASCAR late model. It just don't go.
It's frightening. It's a scary, scary scenario. This is Turn 2, fully stocked by the Party Patriot Council Bluffs, just off the beaten path at 35th and 5th Avenue. A gas station that is giving you full service every Tuesday night, every Tuesday, all day. They're going to have Hooters girls pumping your gas, and then every other day of the week, they're going to put a couple of dollars into some high school kids' pockets. Instead of out doing illegal things and causing trouble, they're going to be down at the Party Pantry pumping gas and giving you full service. So get down to the Party Pantry, 35th and 5th Avenue, and get your car filled up the old-fashioned way.
Also in the top 5, Richard Childress, number 2, fined again. Here's a great story. NASCAR announced Tuesday that the number 2 nationwide car of Elliott Sadler failed post-race inspection at Iowa Speedway. I was there this last weekend. Great race. The car was fast. I mean, that was a fun time down there.
And now we know why it was fast.
Yeah. The Richard Childress car was found in violation actions detrimental to stock car racing. Any determination by NASCAR officials that race equipment used in the event does not conform to NASCAR rules and body height requirements. The car failed to meet the minimum rear car heights. Sadler was docked 6 championship points as a result of the infraction. Additionally, owner of record Delana Harvick was docked 6 owners' points, and crew chief Luke Lambert was fined $10,000.
Doesn't this story sound a little familiar? I do believe the number 2 car of Elliott Sadler was fined once before this season. Earlier in the season, I believe it was he was in a collection of 6 cars that had a unapproved modification to the front bumper, something that they had just kind of kept working with, kind of like that Knaus area we joke about, that gray area.
Well, I was wondering if Luke Lambert maybe isn't like a second cousin twice removed of Chad Knaus.
I think he's just following in the footsteps, pushing that gray area.
But you bring up a good point. Elliott Sadler's team has gotten docked and fined several times before, but it's always a bigger story when Jimmy Johnson's doing it.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Nationwide boys don't get a lot of press. Just because it's kind of the AAA, even though it's great racing down there, and these guys are, I want to say, a lot of times more hungry than the Cup boys are. So you're going to see some good racing down the Nationwide. But
the one thing I will tell you about the Nationwide, it's funny you mentioned that statement because we've talked about on the front stretch here this year that some of the NASCAR races, the Cup races, have been kind of boring to watch. They're kind of vanilla. When I was at Iowa Speedway, you did not see cars all the way around the track. Now, understandably, it's a smaller track. We understand that. But when you went to like Richmond, Bristol, and you watch races there, you still saw cars all the way around the track, but you'd see 2-3 cars here, 2-3 cars there. At Iowa in the Nationwide race, that was one hell of a fun race to watch.
Yep.
I mean, they were 3 and 4 wide at times in the corners, and it was awesome. Right here, I'm reading Sadler was docked 6 championship points as a result of the infraction, but Delana Harvick, she was docked 6 owner points, but crew chief Luke Lambert was fined $10,000.
Yeah, and I'm not.
So that almost makes me feel like Luke Lambert intentionally did what he did. And maybe Delana and Elliott didn't know exactly what was going on.
Yeah, it's tough to say.
It's 6 points, $10,000.
Yeah, it's.
Andrew, what's your thoughts on that?
The best way to hurt a driver is to find him in the points, I think.
Well,
that's exactly what they're trying to do right there. They don't want Elliott Sadler to be hurt in this situation because he's not the one behind the scenes doing the changes to the car. Same as Jimmy Johnson is the one behind the scenes doing it. Chad Knaus is. So they're going to take it out on the crew chief saying, hey, you got to slow down. You got to settle this stuff down so that your driver can keep running consistently. And the car owner sure as heck don't know what's going on. I don't think Delaney knows every single thing that goes on in her garage right there. But
she's just listed as the authorized owner of the car, kind of like Jeff Gordon is listed as Jimmy Johnson's car owner, even though it's Rick Hendrick and Rick Hendrick's organization.
I just want to go on the record saying I don't think Elliott and Delana actually did anything wrong here, but seeing how they're associated with the car, NASCAR's got to maintain its image.
Yeah, they've got to find them because you hit everybody all the way around, but, guilty by association is basically what you're saying.
Yep.
On to number 4.
Number 4, NASCAR signs memorandum of understanding with the EPA. Now, this isn't much about driving in this Fast 5 right here, but this is kind of a big deal with the being economy friendly, showing how NASCAR is. NASCAR and the Environmental Protection Agency entered into a memorandum of understanding that provides framework to encourage greater environmental awareness and adoption of green products and solutions with NASCAR fans, and the industry. The MOU is a voluntary partnership around education and awareness. Basically, they're agreeing to move forward in the E3, which is economy, energy, and environment. The MOU will pave the way for other opportunities and areas of focus for the EPA and NASCAR, such as sourcing more sustainable concessions at events, expanding the use of DFE-labeled chemical products, conserving water, and continuing to grow the promotion and practice of all acceptable types of recycling.
So basically what they're doing there is they're saying that, hey, listen, we're going to try our best to become more environmentally friendly. This weekend, Charlotte Motor Speedway, I believe, has 167,000 seats available. Don't quote me on that exact number, but I believe that's the number, 167,000. So when you get that many people together at one location, there's going to be a lot of trash. And NASCAR's kind of stepping up and saying, we understand that, so we're going to try to make things more environmentally friendly with the stuff they sell at the concession stands, your little containers, your pop bottles, your stuff like that, so that it's more recyclable. Because I found it now, 146,000. That makes a lot of trash.
Well, it makes for a lot of trash, and not to go on a side subject here, but if you ever go out to like Eagle Raceway, I-80 Speedway, McCool Junction, Corning, when you're in the stands, a lot of times, these tracks will have alcohol for sale, and they'll come in the cans. Have you ever looked underneath the stands, Andrew, at I-80 and seen literally the hundreds of dollars worth at 5 cents a can just sitting on the ground?
Yeah,
it looks just like junk.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here going, man, that's more than I make in a year.
I've seen it the last 2 weeks down at Crawford County Speedway. At the end of the night when you're wrapping up and I'm walking down to the pits to talk to you guys, all the fans have cleared out from the stands. And, it's just... it's just trashed. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody throws their stuff away, but it just lands there in the stands for the cleanup crews to come and get later on. But I like this move by NASCAR. They've definitely done a lot of things the last couple of years to say, we're going to definitely become more environmentally friendly, reduce our carbon footprint, which is the common way of putting it, with coming out with they're running the E15 fuel and coming out with the EFI, the electronic fuel injection, to help cut down on the waste of gasoline, the new fueling systems to help stop spilling of so much gas. So this is just another step with them basically saying, hey, EPA, we're going to work with you to find good solutions.
If you remember last year, Dan, when we went to Kansas Speedway, there was a lot of people there, had a great time in the pits and whatnot, but the one thing I noticed was just how clean that place really was. And this is just a testament as to how true NASCAR is staying to its word that, we're here to look after the environment. Like you said, 167,000 people at Charlotte. I bet you within 48 hours, you'll never know anybody was ever there.
Yeah, it's amazing when a NASCAR weekend rolls in, and we talked to Pat Warren about this, the amount of people that swarm into the area, and there's going to be more than 146,000 people there, which is the official capacity, because it's going to be all the different people that don't even make it inside. They're just there to tailgate. Your number 5 for the Fast Five. It's not a joke. I thought you were pulling my leg when you called me and talked to me about this, but Buddy Ray, our very own Buddy Ray, nominated for the Betty Jane Francis Humanitarian Award. Now, a couple of times you have definitely pulled my leg. You gave me a cupcake and you said it was the best frosting in the world. Turned out to be Crisco. You have left me at a gas station before. The things that you have done to me, I have no reason to believe you. I wanted documentation, and you proved it to me. You were actually nominated for the Betty Jane Francis Humanitarian Award.
Now, I don't think Andrew knows much about this, do you, Andrew?
Who's Buddy Ray?
Oh, funny.
No, I knew nothing about this at all. This is actually a fact to me. I've never even heard something of this. This is new.
Betty Jane France, I believe, is the widow to the late Bill France Jr., for who everybody knows, vice president, former president of NASCAR. Mm-hmm. She does a lot of charity work. And now, Andrew, you've been involved with my holiday horsepower drive before, and it's a neat deal. We provide a hand-wrapped Christmas for all the kids at the Children's Hospital here in Omaha, and then from time to time, outside of the holiday season, we'll have families in need, kids in need, and the racers will come together and we'll try to help those families. So the Omaha Children's Hospital has officially nominated us for this award, and if I win, there will be $100,000 going to the Omaha Children's Hospital for their fetal care center to help build that. And the fetal care center, from what I understand, the Children's Hospital, I thought they did this. Do you know that in the history of the Children's Hospital, they never ever did live births there?
Live births?
They never did. No, you could not have a baby there.
Really?
No. Now, you had the Methodist Hospital across the street, which was more of like the adult hospital. Mm-hmm. That's where they had the births, and then if the kids needed surgery or something, they would just bring them across the skywalk to the Children's Hospital.
Got it.
Well, now that they have the new birthing center out on like 180th and Dodge, the ladies' birthing center, now to go out there, transport a child from there back to Children's, by the time logistically, they said it's about an hour and a half. So they're actually going to build this new fetal center where parents, if their kids are going to need a surgery or some kind of a medical issue addressed, they can birth them right there at the Children's Hospital. And we're really, really proud to be a part of that. So
there is a possibility that in the future, there could be a Buddy Ray wing.
That's a scary thought.
It is a very scary thought.
Half of Kentucky be eating lunch there.
Is there any way to vote on this? Any way that Front Stretch fans can help out?
This is so new to me. I personally am extremely humbled by this, and this is the one thing I don't take full credit for. This more of what the drive does. The credit goes back towards the drivers like Andrew Koziski, Bill Layton Jr., Joe Koziski. I think at one time Rachel and I, my wife, we counted something like 90 to 100 drivers that have partaked in this in the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. All I know is the paperwork has to be turned in by May 31st midnight, which it is, and we're still going through that process, at which point in time I don't know who votes or how the voting is done, but I do know that there's a lot on the table right here, and it really hasn't hit me what this means, but I know as a local dirt track racer, this is nothing but a positive for the local dirt track community to see one of our guys, whether it be me or Andrew, being nominated for this. So,
well, that's great news. And Holiday Horsepower Drive, you can always get information, holidayhorsepowerdrive.com. Find out how you can help. Obviously, here in the front stretch, we're going to be doing some stuff with you guys later on the season to help promote it and to get down there and do some racing, and people can actually see how bad of a racer I really am. The flagman's given us the signal of halfway done, so that means turn 3 is just around the corner. We're going to sit down with Bill Layton Jr. We talked to him earlier in the week. We're going to play that interview for you. It's just a few minutes away. Make sure you stay tuned. This is the front stretch presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.